Hi students, welcome to a new video series. In this new video series, we are going to discuss about continuous time Fourier transform or CTFT. Fourier transform is one of the famous transform which has so many applications in signal processing, image processing, communication, etc. In fact, we are using this transform and its applications at least thousands or 10,000 times in a day when we use our mobile phones or some multimedia applications. It has so many applications in multimedia and communications. Now, what is continuous time Fourier transform? Continuous time Fourier transform is a mathematical operation which helps us to view the signals from the frequency perspective. So this continuous time Fourier series and continuous time Fourier transform help us to see the signal from another perspective, or it gives us more insights about the signals. Right now you may think, what is the importance of this frequency domain? Why we need something called frequency domain? See, when we see some signals or when we record some signals, they are recorded in time domain, right? They are simply variations of the amplitude with respect to time. When I talk, the sound vibrations are varying with respect to time, and that is converted into electrical signals and recorded in some particular device. But why this frequency domain view is important? Why we need to look into the signals from the frequency domain perspective? This can be easily understood by an analogy. Assume that you are going to a famous fruit juice shop. It will provide you different varieties of fruit juices, right? And their famous fruit juice is a mixed fruit juice, right? So this mixed fruit juice from that shop is very popular among people, and you are also going to try that mixed fruit juice in that shop. But there is a problem. What is the problem? One fruit, let us say mango. Mango is allergic for you. You cannot eat mango or you cannot drink mango juice, right? But you don't know whether this mixed fruit containing mango or not. But anyway, you are going to the shop and you are looking into the juice, and by smelling or looking, you cannot identify what are the fruits inside this mixed fruit juice, right? So now you are in a problem, right? So you cannot understand what is the composition of this fruit juice, and you are afraid whether I can drink this safely or whether I will have some allergic problems. Now you are unable to drink that particular fruit juice, right? Now you came back home and you are constructing a machine, and the purpose of this machine is to identify the composition of fruits from a mixed fruit juice. Next time when you go to the shop, you will go with this machine and you will put a small sample of the mixed fruit juice into the machine, and this machine will give you a graph which containing what are the percentages of fruits contained in this particular juice. For example, mango 10%, orange 20%, apple 30%, grape, like that. It will give a graph about the composition of this fruit juice. Now what is the advantage of this kind of a graph? See, this is giving a new view about this fruit juice. Why this graph containing the plots of percentages of fruit is very important? Because from this particular plot, now you know that whether this fruit juice containing mango or not. So it is containing 10% mango. So you can take a decision whether I have to drink it or not, right? So this gives you an extra insight about the composition of the fruit juice. Now if you have another machine which can remove the unwanted fruit, for example, so you have understood that it contains 10% of mango, and you are giving this fruit juice to a new machine which can extract or which can remove the unwanted fruit, for example mango, and give you the remaining fruit juice, then that can be used to remove unwanted fruit extracts from the fruit juice, right? So this is a funny example. So still this story gives us so many insight. For example, if you know the composition of this mixed fruit juice, you can go home and you can buy these fruits, and in the same composition you can also mix it and drink. You can make the same fruit juice which the shop is providing, right? So you can synthesize your own mixed fruit juice. One thing. Second thing, you can find out the composition of any fruit juice, right? These are the two extra added advantages provided by the machine which is able to find out the composition of the fruit juice, right? Now coming to the signal perspective, this is same for signals also. When we record some signals, it is a mixture of so many signals. For example, when I am recording here, my sound is recorded, the fan which is rotating on top of me is recorded, and some vehicles are passing through the road, it is recorded, some people are talking, that is also recorded. Now if I look from the time domain perspective, I cannot understand which is my signal and which is the fan rotation sound or which is the vehicle signal, right? Now if I can look from the frequency perspective, I can get a better understanding about the composition of the signals present in this complex signal, and I can remove the unwanted signal. That is known as filtering, right? So it helps us to filter the unwanted sound. That is what is mainly used in noise removal applications, right? If you have recorded some sound or video or photo with some noise, you can remove the noise using this kind of Fourier transform and Fourier series ideas. Now I am going to show you an example of recording my sound along with some high frequency signal and how it will look like when I look in the time domain and in the frequency domain, and how can I remove this unwanted frequency using the filtering operation.
Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to record my voice in this Audacity software, and let us check what is the spectrum of this particular voice. Hello, this is a test signal. Now this is my speech, right? So this contains my speech. Even I can zoom and I can check how it will look like. So this is my speech signal, right? Now let us plot the spectrum of this particular speech signal. Select this particular speech signal and click on plot spectrum. So suddenly it is showing the spectrum of my voice. It mainly says that my sound containing frequencies in this region, around 4000 5000 region, and slowly it is decreasing to the higher frequency region. So Jen's voice will be normally in the low frequency region. Now what I am going to do is that I am going to mix a noise along with my voice and check how the spectrum of that particular signal look like. So for that I am turning on a noise signal from my mobile phone, so which is around 5000 Hertz. I am going to record both the noise and my sound into Audacity and check what is the spectrum. This is a test signal. So here you can see that the characteristics of the time domain signal is changed, because now it is a mixture of both my sound and the noise of that particular frequency. But unfortunately I cannot recover my sound from this particular noise signal. So if I look into the spectrum as I have done in the previous case, go to analyze, click on plot spectrum, it will show you a peak at some areas like this 5000 and somewhere around 15,000 and 20,000. It is showing some spikes. This means that along with my speech, which is mainly located in this area, spectrum is located in this area, it has some peaks. These peaks are because of the noise signal. If I can remove these spikes from 5000, 10,000, 15,000 and 20,000 areas, then I can remove the noise from this signal. So I am going to try the filtering operation, right? So what I have did is I have applied some filters at these particular frequencies and I am clicking on OK. Now you can see that my original sound is recovered from the noisy signal. So it is not perfectly removed, but still you can see that the sound is recovered from the noise signal. So this is the best example of the use of Fourier spectrum and filtering. If we have only this time domain view, then we cannot recover or we cannot separate the signal from the noise. We are able to do this filtering only because of this frequency spectrum. See, we have removed these particular areas where the spikes were appearing. That's how we were able to reduce the noise in this particular signal.
So I hope this example was useful. Now think how this Fourier transform is working. The working of Fourier transform is simple. Actually, what Fourier transform is doing, that if you are given with a complicated signal, right, let us consider it as a mixed fruit juice. So if you are given with a complicated which is a mixture of so many signals, then we are multiplying this given complicated signal with some non-signals, non-frequency signals. If this complicated signal contains this non-signals, then when we multiply them together, it will give you some positive area. For example, if you have a sin x function and a sin x function, and if you multiply, you will get sin square x. Since both sin x and sin x are same, its area will become positive. So similarly, if the complicated signal is there and you are multiplying that signal with a non-signal, and if it is providing a positive area, that means that this complicated signal contains this particular test signal. You can try with different test signals and multiply with the given complicated signal and check for the area. If the area is positive, that means that the signal contains that particular frequency, and if the area is negative, that means that the signal does not contain that particular frequency. So this is the basic idea of Fourier transform. That is what we are going to discuss in this particular video series. We will discuss it in a conceptual view and also in a mathematical point of view. So without wasting much time, let us go into the other videos and watch what is continuous time Fourier transform and what are the mathematical ideas behind continuous time Fourier transform.